Hello, Aptab. You're all here. Just prepping my game for later. I went to the Middle Earth game, and it struck me that everything in Middle Earth has a name. Everything, every everything, every person has a name. Every like place has a name, and they all have lots of names, which makes the place feel really alive. Like Minas Tirith is the White City of Gondor. It is the City of Kings. It is Minas Tirith. It's a bunch of things all together. Gandalf, Gandalf the Grey Pilgrim, Mithrandir, all this stuff. They all have lots of names, and the point is, it makes the place feel really alive because different cultures have different names for things, and that's something that we do, I guess, in our world. Can't think of an example right now, but it's definitely makes the place feel really alive. And so when I'm prepping this game, I'm finding myself doing a lot of research, like looking up different names for things so that I can say the same name a couple of different times for the same place or the same thing. Um, it's just something I noticed. Middle Earth is just a really cool place. It's like I love it anyway, and I've watched films 1,000 times and I've read the books a bunch of times, but I've never really run anything in it, and now running it, it's like so rich. It's so easy to run, and so easy to write stuff for because there's so much there, and there's so many resources just out there for it. Like I was trying to figure out how long it would take to get from one place to another, and like that's really difficult to do in a fantasy map. But with Middle Earth, it's not because the distances are all there. It's all measured already. Someone has figured it out already. So it's great. It's like really really easy. But yeah, big point is that names matter. So I'm trying to think of like names for orcs, for example, and like they all have meanings. Like all of everything's in Sindarin, which is like the Elvish language, or most of the names are in that. And so basically, you just figure out what it's called in Sindarin, and you just pick two words, like a village, like river, town, and you get that. You put it into a translator, and then you have this cool sounding name, and it makes sense because it's just like they just called it that because it's by a river and it's a town. But in Elvish, it sounds awesome. Um, and so then, when the players are hearing about the place, they can hear about it as Rivertown. They can hear about it as uh, whatever it might be in Elvish, all these different names, and it makes the place feel really real, really connected. Um, I just think that's awesome. Not a very coherent smoke thought today. Um, Brief, maybe, but yeah. I think naming things really matters. It's something I do in my Viking game also. Like what I do with that game is I do the same thing. I think Rivertown. Okay, this town is by a river, so it's called Rivertown. Then I go to Google Translate and I put in the words river and town into Icelandic. And then I just copy them and put them in there. Mm. And that works really well. It makes the place feel authentic. Um, More authentic than random fantasy noises. There's like a tendency to just name things. Uh, it's like it just sounds generically fantasy. Like you pick a couple of Elvish sounding noises and put them together, and that's the name of a place. But it makes much more sense if that place is named after something, um, like the White City. Yeah, so I always try as well when I'm naming bad guys, good guys, naming anyone to like have a reason for the name, have a meaning for the name, and like it's stuff that your players probably won't even notice, but the one or two players who do notice will be like, "Oh, that's cool." Um, and when you're world building, it makes a big difference. I think, like when you have put in that extra work, the other names come easier as well. Like Rivertown, let's say. Like I have a town where some of the players have played before in the Viking game, which is Skogrund, which is just like the edge of the woods. That's what that means. But it sounds fucking great. It sounds legit. Um, and it's really easy. It takes not that much more work to make the like. I could have just called it, Edgewood as a name for the town, but Skogran sounds better. Um, and yeah, I just think that makes a big difference. What do you guys think? Yeah, let me know. Anyway, what do you guys think about names and conventions and names? Like, I'll do it as well with generic fantasy games and stuff. I'll take Latin or Greek, and I'll take those words and put them into a translator, and then get it. And it's like the words that are Latin and Greek, they're like kind of part of our language anyway. Um, they kind of match the language anyway, and so like it resonates with people, even if they don't know what it means necessarily. They know that like that noise symbolizes. That's not the right word. Um, but yeah, that noise like signifies a certain thing. Like uh, Thanatos is like death in Greek. So anything with Thana will sound scary. Um, yeah, exactly. Here we go. Got some chat here. So Chris just posted about this a few days ago. Oh, I didn't see that. I will definitely watch that. You should have names that mean at least something. Very good, Rob. Absolutely. That's the way to do it. I take English names and look up Latin, Greek, or other language translations. Yeah, Jake, that's what I do as well. And it works really well, I think. And it's like I don't know, a speed hack to make your world seem more real, I think. Um, yeah, so I don't know. That's basically it. Just thought I'd come in here and wander about names for a bit. If you are around this evening, well, actually, it's probably afternoon in America, at 8 p.m. my time, which is 3 p.m. Eastern, I'm running the next session of Against the Shadow, which is my Middle Earth campaign, and that's why I was talking about names. So if you're interested in watching that, please do, and I hope this was helpful, and I'd love to see some responses about names.